What is up, everyone? It's David from TCG Pulse, and today we're going to be doing another deck profile. This is a deck profile for post Burst of Destiny, and we're going to be doing Sunavalon. So this deck's really fun, just the way it plays. It's not going to be the most busted deck in the world, but it could definitely get some wins in this meta, even as crazy as the boards are now, because of the way it plays, the way you can build it. So without further adu, we're just going to start. First up is your vanilla. You need 3 of these because your deck revolves around this. You need the name Sunseed, and it's the vanilla. And then Sunseed Shadow. You can special summon this if you have the vanilla, but basically you're setting this off the new Sunvine Sowing card. You can banish this from the graveyard if a Sunavalon is linked to something. It doesn't have to be co-linked, just linked. So if it's pointing to anything anywhere, you can banish this and target one of the 2 linked cards, special summon that link that you targeted from the extra with its effects negated. So it's a link climbing tool. So I think I'll do it this way. So those are your main decked Sunseed cards. Next up, you play Rescue Rabbit. Yes, in 2021, Rescue Rabbit. If you just hardcore normal summon the Loki, you still got full combo. But if you have this, it allows you to get an extra 4K beater on field. And so, like I said, this whole deck is just about spitting out that seed. So, hand traps, we play a bit. So, Ash Blossom Joy Spring. I do play 2 Ghost Spell. I like this card. The way Yugioh has become, a lot of basically graveyard is just your second deck. Play 3 Veiler and 2 Nibiru's. We do play Crossout in this build, but we still play like 13 going second cards. So in this deck, it's okay. This is one of the few decks where Crossout is pretty good because you're not ruining your deck building by adding in just random targets. Like, you want to see these, and you also want to see Crossout, so it's okay. Sunvine Shrine. So on activation, it's a continuous spell. You have to discard a card. Doesn't matter what it is, but you discard a card. If you control a link, you can special summon one of your Lokis from the grave. And if you have a continuous trap in grave during your opponent's end phase, you can send this to the grave to get back that trap. Alright, what made this deck decent before now? It wasn't all that great, but Sunvine Sowing. The reason this card is good is it special summons a Sunseed, so you're going to get your effect Sunseed, the Shadow, not the vanilla. It specials it from deck. Cool, right? Second effect is it makes you lose 1,000 life points as part of the effect, not as part of the cost, which triggers your Link 1, which lets your Link 1 special from the extra. So it's a special from deck, and it triggers your Link 1. So it's like a double extender almost. This also is a not once per turn Balinks for your plants. So it's really, really good. So this card does everything. Okay. More bullets to get out your, because like I said, you gotta see a way to get to Loki, but it's not really that big a deal in this deck as you usually do. So 1 for 1, 3 unexpected die. This just specials 1 if you got no monsters. 2 painful decision. You send a Loki from their deck to the graveyard to add 1 to your hand. Like I said, you're just trying to get your vanillas. Alright, next up, 3 Crossout Designators. This deck, you've got 2 ways to build this. You could play a stun variant where you're playing like a bunch of Solemns, bunch of hand traps, but I do think if you're not have access to these designators, you might not want to mess with this deck yet, because this deck is very hurt by hand traps, so it doesn't really push through things. Okay, then the Call by the Grave. Next up, we got just tech cards. You play, like I said, all those hand traps, Call by the Crossout Designators, Call by the Grave, and you play 3 droplets, just a board breaker. This deck doesn't push through a lot of things, like I said, so you need to have hand traps and board breakers. Avalon Bloom. It's a continuous trap. On activation, and it only happens on activation, so you're going to do it once. You can negate your opponent's entire field of monsters. And then also, if you have a Link 4 or higher plant, if your opponent attacks you or you attack them, you can, during damage calculation, kind of like a Kalut, make that monster gain the attack of everything it points to, and it points upwards, the Link 4. So if you have something underneath this, then it counts that too. But normally you're going to be sitting on bare minimum 65. So really, really good card. Play 3 Judgments. This could be strikes, but I've just always been a player that I'd prefer to have a card that stops a summon and stops a spell and trap. That could, like in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, staples are everything. So you don't want to just get like Dark Ruler or Heavy Storm. You just don't want to get blanketed. So I'd rather have a card that stops things like polymerization spells, ritual spells. This can just stop spell and trap cards, and it can also stop summons. I just value that over strike, and this is also a card that can always be paid because it's half rather than a set 15. And then lastly, 3 Imperms. Like I said, this deck, Sunavalon itself isn't all that great. It's just the way you build this deck. It's everything around it that makes it good. Okay. Next up, we'll do the extra deck. So I'm not going to try to say all these names. I'm sorry. The Link 4 Sunavalon. So it just requires 2 link monsters. But most of the time in this deck you are going to be locked into plants, so that's why you're not going to see a bunch of tech stuff. When it's link summoned, you can add the Sunvine Bloom. You can add the Sunavalon spell trap, but you're only going to be adding this. So you add the Sunvine, so that's why you only play 1. It cannot be destroyed by card effects, and it cannot be targeted for attacks, and it has 0 attack, but your opponent can still attack you directly, so it's not like a complete lock. During your turn, not a quick effect, you can tribute something it points to, and a link monster, and destroy that many cards your opponent controls, equal to the link rating. Most of the time you're going to have the link 4, so a lot of times you're popping 4. And the monster that you're sending can also revive itself, so it's really cool. Next up, we play 1 of the Link 3. So, same thing, it cannot be targeted for attacks, doesn't prevent your opponent attacking you. Up to 3 times per turn, if you take battle or effect damage, you gain that much life, and if you do special summon a Sunvine, you only play the Link 1 from your extra deck. And then once per turn, when a monster, this card points to its target for an attack, you can negate the attack. If you do, move the monster to another monster zone. So it's pretty cool. This is just like a good attack negation thing. And also, this is the one that lets you, if you're paying life points, get it back. So if you don't set full combo, a lot of times you can just put this in the extra zone and just sit on it, because they have to attack you like 4 times to actually get to your life points. Next up, 2 of the Link 2. Not really relevant effects, but it's got the same thing. Cannot be targeted for attacks. Doesn't prevent your opponent from attacking you. Twice per turn, if you take battle or effect damage, you gain that much. And if you do, special. So this one, if you take they have to attack you twice to actually, or 3 times to actually get to your life points, and this one they have to attack 4. So basically just bigger and smaller versions. The best one is your Link 1. So on summon, if it's summoned specifically to the extra zone, not once per turn, you can search one of your spells. So you play 2 sowings and 1 of the shrines. So yeah, it's also got the thing where they can attack you directly, but not it. Okay. And then once per turn, if you take battle or effect damage, you gain. So these ones right here, like I said, most of all these trees, your opponent, it's hard to get to your life points. 3 Thrasher. So this is your only Sunvine. So this is the only one that's going to be summoned if you get any of these effects off of the ones that say summon from the extra. So what it does is, on summon, you target one of your your links up here, and then you gain attack times 800 times the link. So most of the time you're gonna end on the link 4, so this thing will be sitting at 4K. Sunavalon Daphne, this is a totally flex spot. You just need, this is one you contribute something and then get back to Sunavalon, so it just recurs, but it's totally not needed. You want to play a different link 2, you want to play another link 3s, whatever you want to play. You want to play one of the other Sunvines, cool, be my guest. I just wanted something that was a link 2, points either way, and if I need it, recursion. Next up, you've got your link 3 Sunavalons. So not once per turn, on summon, it special summons your vanilla back from the grave. This card cannot be targeted for attacks, does not prevent your opponent attacking directly like the other ones. Once per turn, target a Sunvine link you control that this card points to. It can attack a number of times in the battle phase up to the Sunavalon links you currently control. So, not really relevant, you're never going to have this on field. But yeah, you just want this because it reborns. It's a link 3, and it gets you to your link 4. Lastly, probably the best card in the extra. So, link 4, 2 plants, right? During the main phase, it is a quick effect. You can target an effect monster your opponent controls, and you can compulse it, return it back to the hand or to the extra, and if you do, you're gonna take the amount of attack points to whatever monster you did. Also, if it's in the grave, you can banish 2 link monsters specifically. It has to be 2, not up to. It has to be specifically 2, and they have to equal exactly 4. And you can special this back from the grave. So it's a bounce. It's a link 4. So when you're sitting on your link 4 Sunavalon, tribute this, pop 4 cards, and immediately just get it back from grave. So that is that. I will show you the side. Normally I always show sides, but like I said, I feel like side deck's important, especially when you're building a deck. The way I play this deck is, you see how I have it very control heavy. So going second, I have 3 Dark Rulers. So this is just another way for sure you're going second. You can side out your cross outs or something, or your judgments, or whatever you want to side out, just to help make sure you can play. So if you're playing a Dragon Link deck, something that doesn't set back row, then you want more cards that blow out the field. So that's to help. We have a lot of monster control already in the deck, so I just play those 3. Next up, Duster, Lightning Storms. So I respect back row. Honestly, I hate playing Altergeist or trap decks more than I hate playing monster decks, because in Yu-Gi-Oh now, honestly, sitting on a bunch of negates is not that hard to break, because you have so many staples that break everything. So basically I'm just trying to go all out for monster board breaking and all out for back row, and this does both. Double Twin Twister, we want to not lose to back row. Things you know you're going first, I play Solemn Strikes. Things I'll take out if I'm going first, and I know I'm going first, I'll take out my droplets or something, just to make sure. And then evenly matched, I don't recommend putting this in against board monsters. I actually only use this as basically another way of Lightning Storm. I use this to break control boards. I don't put this in against combo, because it's just going to get negated. But that is the side deck. Okay everyone, we are back. We're going to be doing the test hand portion, and I'll show you how to play this deck. I'll go ahead and just do the test hand versus the combo, because there's only one combo, right guys? So like, there's no point in like doing the combo and then test hand, because basically the way the deck's played, you're never gonna brick. So basically you just want any way to see the vanilla, doesn't matter how. We'll roll some dice here for like a random cut. 10 and 11, so cut 11. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Put them at the bottom. Alright. We got Imperm, Painful Decision, Rescue Rabbit. We opened the vanilla. and cross out. Okay, so you're nib proof. It's awesome. So here, you got two ways. I would suggest doing the rabbit, and if it gets ashed, let's see. It depends how you want. You've got cross out, so you're not too worried about it. If you get rabbit, it's more powerful, but it's just whichever way you want to do. It's all the same. Like I said, the way you build this deck is you just any way to see this. So we're gonna do rabbit because we've got the cross out. We can also hard normal summon this. Painful choice, like I said, you would send one to the grave and search another, but there's no point in getting two vanillas. So rescue rabbit. It gets banished. Special summon Sunseed Loki. Get both of them. So try to keep them all to one side, and you don't want to lock up your link zones here, the points. Okay, so link one of these. Go into Dryas. Dryas on summon, since it was summoned to the extra zone, searches a Sunbind spell. So we're going to grab Sowing. We're going to activate Sowing. Here it's special summons a Sunseed. You're going to want specifically to get Shadow. It's your effect monster. Just make sure whatever you summon doesn't go underneath the pointer. Do not block this. Resolving this effect, it summons, and if you do, it's not part of the cost, you take 1,000 damage. That's important because now on the next chain link, this is going to get back the 1,000, and then it's also going to trigger its effect. So now you're back at 8,000. You're going to go into Sunbind Thrasher. You don't have to, but if you want to on summon, you can target this. It'll gain 800, blah blah. Not important. You link 2 into Dryas. Here, link summon specifically with this one into your link 1 again. Now that you have something linked to this, you're going to banish Sunseed and then pick one of these, and you'll special from the extra with its effects negated the same monster. Now you're always going to go with link 2. So we'll target that, special summon the link 2, its effects are negated. Going to go into link 3, Melius. On summon, special summons the vanilla, Loki, these two, special summon another one. It's not once per turn, so bring back the vanilla, link summon. You want to do it in this order, even though it's not, you can do the combo in the other order, but like you want to keep this open because when you summon this, now once per turn, you're going to search again for your other Sunbind card. You're going to Sunbind Shrine. Okay. Now here, you can activate Shrine. If you have an extra, like if you drew another one of the sowings, I would suggest pitching it because this is a Balinx for your plants, but it's not once per turn. So if they dark hole you, banish it. They dark hole you again, just banish it again. It's not once per turn. The only effect that's once per turn is the actual card effect, but the instead effect isn't. Okay. We will we're gonna make our, so what did we still haven't paid cost in this, so we'll pitch Painful Decision. We won't need it. Then you have to do that on activation. Then effect, it's a monster reborn. Okay. Here, you have to summon your link 4, but there has to be 2 links. So make sure you're not using the vanillas. It has to be the 3 and the 1. On summon, it searches. This is your on activation skill drain. And then you can use the vanilla in the Link 3. Go into Falling Glacier. Normally I like to put it right here. And then since we had Rescue Rabbit, normally this would be it. This is all you end on, and then you would have like whatever you drew. But since we opened Rescue Rabbit, we can use this Loki. Go into Sunseed Thrasher on summon target. Now this has 4,000 attack permanent. And then you've got a skill drain that also is like a permanent colute. So every time they would attack one of your Link 4s here, you gain the attack of everything it points to. So this would gain 4,000 right here. So it'd be at 65. If they were to target this a lot of times they're not going to read your cards because you're playing Sunavalon. They just don't respect it. So they won't read anything beyond the skill drain. They'll attack this, or they'll try to attack you somewhere else. Sunvine Bloom during damage calculation. This will now gain 6,500. And because it points upwards, if they have something underneath this, so when you make this combo, if you're going second, you want to try to put this wherever it points to something, it'll also gain that. And during your turn, you can activate this too. So a lot of times, they'll think, oh, he's only got 65, he can't beat me, but then this will gain 65. Other things this board does, like I said, you got Imperm. You're always gonna have like a hand trap or something. Just the way this deck's built, you're always gonna have other just generic staples. So we just set these. Or if you're worried about Nib, and like if you have a good player, they might wait till like you declare. Sometimes cross out. If I'm not certain I'm going to hit something, what I'll do is I'll keep this in hand, and I'll even keep it until end of end phase, because this lasts for the turn and it's still your turn. So if they try to nib you on the, if you set it, a good player might wait until the end of main phase to nib you, then you're kind of screwed. But if you just save it in your hand, wait for end phase, if they try to nib you at end, then you can activate it. So a lot of times I'll just keep this in hand just to make sure that this board stays until the end phase. Other things this board does, this right here, you tribute something it points to and pop that many cards equal to the rating. So like I said, you're popping 4. His effect activates, it doesn't activate, but whenever you want to, you can banish 2 Link monsters, so a 3 and a 1, and get him back. And he also is a quick effect compulse, so you take damage to something your player has and then you return it to the hand. So yeah, that's kind of what Sunavalon does, guys. It's not the most broken thing in the world, but honestly, it's a very controlling board that can OTK out of nowhere. Like this, like OTK is like crazy, because I'm talking sometimes you're hitting for 10,000 or more. So, and this isn't once per turn either. So if you can summon more of these, you can just have 2 4K attackers in one turn. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. This is our Sunavalon from the TCG Pulse deck profile. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It really helps us out. We're trying to get to the 1,000 one day here. Also join the Discord below. It's a very active Discord. We play Digimon, Pokemon, Card by Vanguard, just all of them. We'll see you next time, guys. Peace.